let's move on. Artificial intelligence raises $16 million to use AI to make NPCs feel more realistic in video games. Um, and Gem, this would be, I think, great for the video game that you just showed me, previous to this game or this show, to have a more realistic NPC feel. And I'm all for it. You know, I will say one of my biggest disappointments in Spider-Man 2 was jumping down into the streets and feeling like nobody acknowledged that Spider-Man had just landed in front of you. Like, it shouldn't, like, somebody come out of nowhere and just bow to me. Like, I'm Spider-Man. Like, what are you talking about? So I hope the NPC does create, or this investment creates more of an engaging experience for the gamer, more of an immersive experience, and something that brings the world to life. A former group of Google DeepMind, because, you know, Google probably canned them, is improving how non-playable characters, NPCs, behave and interact with games. I think this is all a improvement and progression that I think we would all like to see. And what I think is awesome is the startup is coming straight out of Edmonton, Alberta, aka Canada made, as well as a partnership with NVIDIA. So what do you guys think? Do you think NPCs nowadays are fine? Or do you think we're due for this AI boost to NPC architecture? And I'll start with SPG here. Thanks for joining.
It could literally like change gaming forever. And what I mean by that is I've been playing a little game called Shadow of War, and they have a nemesis system. And they're the best NPCs you can go up against in games, and it's a like a decade old, like it's 10-year-old game. What it is you'll fight an orc. They have audio dialogue where they talk shit directly to you. You thump them for a bit, and if you don't kill them, you throw them into fire or you beat them with a hammer and then you run away. The next time they see you, they might look at you and go, "You hit me with your hammer, but this time I'm gonna, whatever." Well, if you think of that, which that's what makes me put so many hours into that game, the loop of all the interaction with the NPCs and how they feel like they're alive or doing something when you interrupt them. That is going to change into you can have full dialogue conversations with them. Like they're going to be able to pipe in your mic to where you'll be able to talk shit right back to the orc, and then the orc is going to respond back to you with AI algorithms to where it's going to feel like a real full-fledged conversation. Now, that's just for Shadow of War as an example, but think of GTA to where you could be stealing a car, pull the guy out, and he wants to have a conversation with you, or he's screaming bloody murder, or he's talking about your funny ass hat, and you shouldn't be able to steal the car wearing that hat. I mean, it could be super, super cool. And a whole bunch of people are going to try to find sentience and get them to describe their life. And even that is interesting. You can find a whole bunch of clips on the internet revolving this subject. But I do think that it could reinvigorate, it could change gaming, and it could also take a whole bunch of voice actors' jobs.
Oh yeah, and we can see that already happening with the finals, voiced completely by AI, and that is a free-to-play PvP shooter. But I'll get into Jem. You've had your hand on a game before. Would you bring AI into it for your NPCs if you felt like it was just a plugin that would make things more realistic?
Absolutely, well, without hesitation. I um, I don't remember if I mentioned this before, but when it comes to single player open world games, I don't like them. I'm very picky with it. I only like Elder Scrolls and GTA and Red Dead games because um, the the world feels alive, and mainly that's because of the NPCs of that world. So in Elder Scrolls, specifically Skyrim here, all the NPCs, they all have their own daily lives and schedules, and it brings life to the open world. Same with GTA games, where the NPCs react based on your actions. You can, like, for example, drive a car, hit someone, and they realistically, with ragdoll physics, gets, rolled and stuff. Or you can even just honk at them, or you can go fast and brake immediately, and the NPCs will still react to that even though you haven't even touched them. And it just brings the world alive, and those are the type of open world games I love. And then Red Dead is just next level on detail with NPCs. So with AI NPCs, if it's easy to implement, if it makes it way better, I might actually start liking all the rest of the single player open world games. When it comes to open world games, like I said, I only like Elder Scrolls and Rockstar games, and I like it in multiplayer games like MMOs, because every single person I see in an online world is a real player, and we could pretend those online players could be like really AI NPCs. There's not going to be much of a difference between real players and NPCs. That would be like the best blur. If I'm playing a single player open world, I would love AI NPCs to act like if they were real, players in an MMO.
The
But yeah, that's
well,
pretty
isn't
much
that
my
called the Turing test? Am I
yeah, the
correct?
Turing test. Yeah.
Where they try to decipher which one is AI or which one is, or if a human can't tell who's a person
Yeah, if a
versus a
human can't
computer.
tell. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind if I can tell or something, but it's just like there's thousands of games that are just so disappointing in NPC department. They're just nothing but a sack of potatoes. So any improvement to NPCs, I'm 100% on board with it.
Have
Wandering
you?
around a world that feels dead sucks.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can't stress this enough. I hate open world single player games because of that. It's literally just that NPCs are just so robotic. It just pulls me away from the immersion.
Drew, can I throw in something? Let me tell you
Yeah.
something. First of all, anything that's innovating and upgrading games, I'm all for it. But dude, I'm thinking of a game like Phasmophobia or something like you're already scared in some of these scary games. Can you imagine NPCs that just give it to you in a horror game? They come out and they scare you and talk to you, or that's what I'm looking for. I'm like what they can do with some of these horror games with NPCs.
Yeah, I would even say I would like to see this as a plugin that gets sort of retroactively installed in games. I'd love to see sort of old games come to life through this. You know how
I mean,
Fortnite upgraded with Unreal Engine 5? I'd love to see the same sort of premise take place where you could upgrade games with AI Engine 5 type of thing. But
it
go
would
as
just be
SVG.
shocking. It would just be shocking to have a conversation with an orc about Lord of the Rings lore, like in
That
game.
would be
Like,
amazing.
what do you think about Sauron? Oh, Sauron. Oh, Dark Lord. I mean, who knows, dude? It could be really cool. But it could take a lot of jobs too. But I really think it will expand the gaming world and make it feel alive, like Jem was saying.
I would
They,
be
they
like,
can.
so what are
Oh,
you attracted to? Like, how do you wash down there? Like, what's the sex scene like as an orc? Do you guys just orgy up? Like, well, how's that go? Like, the questions are just boundless, right?
You
start
think they
bringing
would
up
wash
politics.
carefully, but they don't.
Everyone's thinking about this, right? Do are orcs monogamous, or do they just orgy up and just sort of see what plays?
Play Shadow of
Um,
War. You'll meet an orgy orc.
Shrek. That's all I got to say. Shrek.
So I'm hearing there's an orgy orc, and I'm hearing there's Shrek, who is
Dude,
obviously
there's literally-
monogamous.
Look,
Shrek
bro,
is
there's
the
literally
second
an orc that will ambush you. In his name or in his dialogue, he calls you supple and soft, and he can't wait to touch you and shit. Dude, these orcs are crazy. You should try that game, Rue.
Yeah, I mean, and then to like retroly have that AI, I think put into old games and really give them life. I'd love to go back into GTA and like see people alive and stuff like that. So that would
Yeah,
be my
the
my
scripted-
main hope
the-
for it.
the scripted nature of some of these interactions could go out the window. And then
Yeah.
every interaction is extremely different based on what you're doing, what you're saying, or what you're holding. Like, it could be amazing, like Jim was saying.
And that was sort of my expectation day today, but no, we're still on everything scripted. So although I will say scripted events have their place, like you wouldn't want to go through, say, Elden Ring, and then this person's pissed off at you and you can't progress through a mission because, you know, you took a shit somewhere or talked to an NPC, it's this certain way. So I think scripted has its place, but I also NPC cut free.
They've done really good. Developers do really good at hiding the jank and how things fit together and work. On your screen, it might be seamless, but behind the scenes, it barely works. I mean,
Yeah.
it's true.
But I wanted to jump into the next one.